Alright, Acts of Cruelty is game number 5 in the match between Team Karma and Team Giant Killer General. Team Karma is kind of hanging on for dear life here. They want to put a stop to basically their epic fail in this match, but on the other hand, they're kind of off. They have a disadvantage. They've had a disadvantage the entire match. So and the reason for that is, you know, a lot of their players haven't shown up, and a lot of their stronger players aren't present either. You know, Karma had to duck out. He's on vacation. Eastwind was going to take his stead, and, you know, he's not here. So who's going to step it up? Arsenic is going to volunteer. Paris, luckily, Limp is going to substitute, but you know, a lot of players would probably say Limp is, you know, either rusty or, you know, just whatever. But he is a fine player, I think. Sam the Butcher is kind of coming into his own here. I know he's enjoying being on a team with some better players than he's kind of used to. But no offense, crew, I love you, and was rooting for you in the Myth World Cup, but you didn't really have the best performance, I have to say. So Honky's also a fairly good player, but they just don't have the attendance they need to really put up the effort required of them here. And Zell, of course, is selflessly volunteering to substitute also. For Team Giant Killer General, they just showed up en force. Giant Killer General, of course, at the helm. Even his lesser players have shown up here. So, you know, Zach and LN and Falcon arguably are his weaker players, and other than, you know, Slate and Gecko are, you know, pretty strong players in their own right. And then, of course, there are his chums from the Southern Parkians, Genghis Khan and Kruniak in the game. Homer hasn't showed up, which is, and I guess, yeah, is Homer the only other player on his team? I'm thinking Homer's the only other player on his team, so that's the one player that hasn't shown up. Anyway, this is Acts of Cruelty with the overpowered forest giant units, and we see this this map game type combination quite a bit in large two-team tournaments. I think it's a fairly popular one, or I should say a fairly standard one. It's come to be standard, even though it is a third-party map with third-party units. Of course, the forest giant units are sourced from a third party, I believe. Feel free to correct me on that if you want to. So yeah, looks like it's gonna be heavy mortar dwarves, maximum forest giants, heavy berserks, and some goals for Puss. And these are actually Thrall Elite. These are not regular Thrall. As you can see, they carry maces and they just walk funny. They're basically zombies, and they're like the same thing as regular Thrall, but
flag captured.
Different somehow.
Flag captured.
Oh yes, and I remember on this map, I was told that I was going to be sitting because it was very important that that, you know, our strong players all get to play. And then I think one of our players, I think Slate, went AFK and never came back, so all of a sudden I found myself in the game.
Flag captured.
So yeah, so what we just witnessed was these whites being popped, and the reason for that is, you know, these pus packets come out as a result, and you can pick them up with the goals and use them to freeze the forest giants, and that's basically the best defense, because they're susceptible to pus, and when they are frozen, that is the prime time to engage them. That's basically the only time to engage them without risking losing your entire army. So that is the taunt from the forest giant. Pretty epic. And so Thrall Elite are basically flag sitters. They just sit down on the flag and prevent easy tags. If two forest giants tag team a flag, it's more than likely it's going to be taken unless there are puskulls sitting around to prevent that from happening, or even other forest giants.
Flag captured. Flag captured.
Okay, so here's Kruniak and Genghis Khan with the forest giants, and Paris and Limp with the other two forest giants. There is a northern force. It's basically Sam the Butcher and Zell, they love to tag team flanks together. Sam the Butcher and Zell working well together, I think. Well, trying to work well together. I think they've been playing better together than perhaps the rest of Team Karma in this match. Maybe with a few exceptions, but so it looks like they're going to try to push here on this flag 7, as it is flag rally. So basically, if they can tag flag 7, they're looking pretty good. They might want to just take the game pretty early. Although Limp gets a little close to the goals and he is frozen. The Forest Giants are going to engage, and wow, some nice moves by Genghis Khan. He manages to avoid getting pus, but then he gets hit. However, Limp gets hit at the same time, and wow, this is pretty ridiculous as Paris suddenly is hit, and it looks like both Forest Giants going to go down nearly simultaneously for Team Karma. Oh, and such an unlucky dud there by Arsenic. So I'd say, yeah, that's pretty much a wrap. 93 to 72%. You know, I think the Forest Giants are just going to come up here and basically clean house. And wow, even another pus left over to take out some of these mortar dwarves. Basically, we're just going to watch Genghis Khan and Kruniak double team the remainder of Team Karma here. Already 89% to 57%. So this is Team Karma's last hope. Sam the Butcher and Zell moving in on the flag. There are a few mortar dwarves in their way. You know, they're going to scout this southern flag and realize that they don't have enough to take it. Hopefully they're thinking they can maybe take flag 7 and push on down to flag 6 and maybe pick up some tags that way. Let's see what else they have. They have some berserks, although it looks like one of their dwarves taken out from something. Didn't quite see what it was. I guess my analysis of the game is they kind of shot their wad early. Plus, Giant Killer General's team got kind of lucky when they were popping their whites. They had a couple of large pus packets that came out of it, and which was probably at least one pus packet more than the other team that, you know, could freeze a forest giant and do area of effect damage
Flag captured.
simultaneously. So that worked out pretty well for them, I think. Ooh, and then, you know, of course, the mortar dwarves getting not too lucky with the duds. Looks like a push on these units. And basically the Zell / Sam the Butcher flank getting obliterated by the Forest Giants. This is basically it for Team Karma. It's Honky's flank, and I don't know, I think Honky might have post-traumatic stress disorder syndrome or whatever it's called. PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I guess there isn't a syndrome in the name. My mistake. Anyway, he's gonna run down, and I don't know, maybe he's just gonna maybe he's just gonna come to his senses and realize the game is hopeless for his team. As the only other units I see are Zell's Berserks, and they're not really in a position to take anything out. They do have a goal, but he's not carrying anything. And then, of course, the goal and Thrall Elite flag sitting, trying to prevent this final tag, or one of the final tags. I guess there's two flags that have yet to be tagged. Look how little damage does Thrall Elite do to the Forest Giant that just ripped through them. That's how overpowered these units are. So that's going to be it for this game and this match. Kind of a lackluster game, as it was over quite early, I'd have to say. Looking at these individual player stats, Looks like Arsenic did the best for his team with 40 damage, but I mean, if you also look, he had 20 losses. I think all of those Thrall were his that got taken out there, so that is going to tip the balance kind of away from off into the negative ratios for him. And Paris and Sam the Butcher actually had tied for second, but I'd have to say Sam the Butcher probably played better than everyone else on his team for this game, as he came the closest to getting positive ratios, and he didn't have any overpowered units. He had just a regular unit mix on a flank there, and managed to do quite well, even though the rest of his team is falling apart around him. So not a bad showing by Sam the Butcher. And of course Genghis Khan and Kruniak getting ridiculous ratios here, 19 kills, 17 kills respectively, 177 damage for Genghis Khan. Pretty ridiculous there. And Gecko actually managed to get a lot of damage himself with 84. Okay, that's going to do it for this game, and all that's left for Osmodian's tournament is the final match. It is going to be between Team Giant Killer General, as they are able to squeak by Team Karma here, and Team Rat King, as Team Rat King's stellar performance in Week 3 managed to catapult them into the finals. So that's going to be the next match that I do, and we'll see how I choose to do it. We'll see, the way the cookie crumbles for that. I guess I just don't know just yet how that's going to work out, but that is what I plan to do next. And I actually participated in that match, and I have to say that is a really good set of games. So that's coming up next. Thanks a lot for sticking with me and watching these videos that I've been putting up. Hopefully you enjoy them, and we'll see you in the next match.
Game over.